So, good morning, everybody. I'm Gregorio Canal. I work for Canal. That's a consortium of the 9 local health authorities among the Veneto region in Italy. And I'm here today to speak about the XDS on FHIR. Okay, so we speak about the FHIR access to an XDS environment. Okay, my company is a member of IHE, that's why I'm here. Okay. So, quickly the agenda. We will see why we are talking about IHE in this HL7 meeting. We will try a little bit to explain what is a document sharing environment, and then we get through the core, that is obviously MHD, and then we have some extra bonus tracks regarding the MXD and QEDM profiles. Okay, so what is IHE? IHE is it stands for Integrating the Healthcare Enterprise. Is a joint initiative that have national and regional branches among all the world. And it's a joint initiative that brings together healthcare IT system providers and users. The idea is that to bring them together at the same table to talk about some use cases that needs to be solved and try to find a solution to that. Okay, as you can see, it's important that this is the IHE vision, that is to enable seamless and secure access to health information that is usable whenever and wherever needed. Maybe you know that HL7 vision is pretty similar. It's a world in which everyone can securely access and use the right health data when and where they need it. So yeah, they are different organizations, but they have a similar vision. Okay, and so the right question is why don't they fight together, but why they work together? Because they have a different mission. So HL7 mission is to provide standards that empower global and health data interoperability. Instead, IHE mission is to provide healthcare, to improve healthcare by providing tools, specification, and services for interoperability. So the key aspect is that IHE doesn't provide standards, but provide profiles, specifications that use existing standards to solve specific use cases. Okay, and this year started a project that's called Project Gemini that has IHE and HL7 working together on FHIR. We have 5 areas of collaboration, so the development and tooling of FHIR-based IHE profile, the publication of those FHIR-based IHE profile, the testing area regarding the FHIR DevDays, where we are here now, FHIR connectatons, IHE connectatons, and identification and execution of pilot projects and maintain joint messaging and marketing. Okay, so let's look to XDS. How many of you know something about XDS? Raise your hand. Okay, so I can switch another slide. No, okay, so as you can know, as far as you can know, XDS provides an infrastructure to share documents, health documents regarding patients among different entities, which everyone different, so such as payers, laboratory, hospitals, obviously, and each one of those can have their own repository where they store their data. And the key aspect is that there is the need of a centralized document registry that knows where the documents are stored, and a patient ID manager that knows for who the document was published. Okay, okay, if we can see this picture as a community, we can go through to XCA. That is another profile that IHE has developed for to give access to another community documents that are published and stored in another community, XDS community. So, for example, if Amsterdam has an XDS community and The Hague has another XDS community, from Amsterdam you can go to pick a document that is published on the Hague XDS community through an XCA gateway. Clear enough? Yeah, perfect. Okay. So, as I said, it's an infrastructure to share documents. There are 5 principles of documents that I think all of you can know. That is the
and I'm here today to talk about starting a FHIR in the cloud.
There's someone.
Other
talking? Okay.
So,
persistence of a document that needs to continue to exist in an altered state. Stewardship. There's someone that needs to that is the custodian of that document. There is the need of a potential of authentication of that document. So you may need to find who's the legal authenticator of that document. There is the context, the wholeness. So document is a whole unit of information, even if it's divided in different parts that they can edit it differently. And last but not least, the human readability. Okay. Here we are. So, as I said, XDS and XCA is a document sharing infrastructure. They are content agnostic, so you can share whatever kind of documents you want, such as CDA, FHIR documents, DICOM documents, and some special documents. We have defined some like on-demand documents, delayed, some graphics. Okay, and what helps you to find the right documents are metadata. Okay, metadata can be divided in 6 big areas, where each one define the metadata that you could or can use to search for that document. Most important is the patient ID, obviously, because all documents are patient-related. And you can search for other descriptive of a document or something about the life cycle when the document has been published, or privacy and security, who's the legal authenticator, as I said before. Okay, so let's go through the core of this presentation. MHD, so mobile access to health document, that it's basically FHIR access to an XDS environment. Okay, the aim of this profile is to provide FHIR-based methods to access an XDS environment and enable the publication of documents by apps, enable the discovery of those documents by apps, and the retrieval of those documents, obviously. So if you want to find some details, you can find it here, then the IHE wiki. And okay, so how we can use MHD to access an XDS environment. MHD has defined 4 actors that are MHD document source, MHD document recipient, MHD document consumer, and MHD document responder. Obviously, the document source is an application that needs to publish a document. Okay, as I said, MHD, we can use it to access an XDS environment. To do so, we need to group the MHD document recipient to an XDS document source that brings that document to an XDS document repository. And so your document published by your application will be stored in an XDS environment. On the similar way, the MHD consumer, your app, your application that is searching for your e-prescriptions, go through a document responder that it's grouped with a document consumer that issue the query to the registry to find the document you're searching for, and then gives you back the resources you're searching. Okay. And how we can use MHD in an XCA environment? Similar. We just group the MHD document responder to an XCA initiating gateway that route the right query in the right community. Question? No. Good. Okay, there are some support profiles that are needed to let MHD work. There are PDQM, PXM, that are the patient lookup. PDQM is the patient demographic query to search for obviously demographic about the patient. And PIX is to search about identifiers of the patient, all the identifiers that are regarding, that are of the patient, sorry. And IUA, that's an OAuth profile complementary to SMART to give secure access to the documents. And ATMA, secure HTTP audit event specification, and MSD to MCSD to search for directory provider, organization, and healthcare services. It's not working? Okay. Yeah. Okay. As I said before, MHD profile defines 4-actor and defines also 4 transactions. The first one is the provide document bundle, ITI 65, that it's the publication request. Basically, it's a bundle that has to, where you need to send a document manifest resource, a couple of document reference and binary resources, and maybe a list if you need to create a folder or put that document in a folder in your XDS environment, and patient resources. Okay, you can choose to use this transaction to publish that document. That's obviously used mostly on XDS registry repository environment, and it can be used to obviously publish new document or replace old documents with newer one. Okay, or you can use it to push a document to another devices. Okay, that's another key aspect, that we are looking to use MHD on an XDS environment, but you can use MHD standalone. Okay, where your document recipient is basically a FHIR server. You just publish your documents over there, and another application can search for those over there. Okay, and defines other transactions that are simply normal FHIR queries against document reference resources and document manifest resources. Obviously, the patient parameter is required, and there is the last transaction that is not here, but it's the retrieve transaction. So if you need to get that document, you just get that binary resource, and the server get back you the documents. Okay. Okay, these are the conformance resources of the MHD profile. You can find them on the IHE.net, or I think they are also in the simplifier. If you search for MHD, you should find them. Okay, so as I said before, we are sharing documents, but documents are not optimal for FHIR clients because so we are using MHD to eliminate the need to understand SOAP and the XML that are the base of XDS, and it's really a little bit complicated to understand. And and enabling the use of JSON and XML API. So we're changing the infrastructure, but the documents are the same. So there are various formats, as I said before: PDF document, DICOM document, CDA, CCR, and apps tend to want summary without duplicates. Yet, so apps will eventually need to know the integrity and authenticity of data, maybe to reference the source. And many CDA today are just EHR data dumps, currently medical summary, and FHIR provides nice sized chunks, okay? Chunks of data. So we've developed another two profiles. We will look at other two profiles that can be used to search through parts of document. There is the query for existing data from mobile, that is QEDM, that supports clinical the queries for clinical data elements, such as observation resources, allergen tolerance, diagnostic report, that comes from a document, okay? And this is another profile, that is MXD, that enables the search for fine-grained data that comes from documents. Okay, so you can search for an allergy resource that is derived from a specific document, and you can know, your apps can know that that resource comes from that document by a provenance resource. Okay.
What's the difference between this one and the previous one?
Okay, so this one defines some transaction to search for those.
Specific resources?
Yeah.
Okay, the other one also came back with an allergy.
Okay, this one is more a best practice. Okay, how QEDM and MHD XDS can work together to give you this kind of.
It's labeled on top of.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so XDS, we have this kind of different document. We can decompose this document in this kind of resources that you can search with the QEDM profile. And through the provenance resource, you can know that, for example, this immunization resource came from that episode.
Have you been using this actually?
In our environment, no. Actually, I think that, no, I'm right. So these two profiles have been developed last year. So right now they're in trial implementation, and we're still testing it during the IHE connectathons. On the other side, MHD, it's been developed, I think, 5 years ago. 4, no, 5 now, but 3 or 4. And it's been pretty tested. We're using it. We have developed an app that gives you access to your e-prescription that are published on the Veneto region. Okay. Okay, yeah, using provenance. Yeah, as I said before, you can use the provenance to determine that specific resource from which document it was derived, how often the issue is referenced, who published the issue, and all this kind of thing. The provenance can have one more target. Okay. The recorded element is when the decomposition of the document happened. Okay, this is a technical thing. And the entity, okay, that is the document reference representing this document. Okay, I was pretty fast, actually. Okay, so if you want to experiment this MHD, those are the references. You can also find me on the table. And so, conclusion, enabling the technology of FHIR accessibility through document sharing. It's document metadata query, publication of documents, get document resources, get provenance so that gets source document. Okay. Sorry. So, we have time, so I have a little bonus track. That is, yep.
Before you go there, in the beginning you said you're also trying to use MHD to access just a FHIR repository.
Yep.
The weird thing I felt, knowing FHIR for longer than now XDS, is that the way MHD deals with patients is that they're usually become contained resources, which is quite different as you usually do with
Yeah.
a server.
That's actually an issue that as I said before, MHD, it's in trial implementation, so we are trying to solve this kind of issue that raise up during the connectathon. So how to deal with the contained patient resources, etc. Yeah.
What's the best practice there?
I think that the best practice is to use the contained resource as patient, as far as you can develop an MHD using, if you have your own FHIR repository that works well, you have your patient manager, obviously in FHIR, and you are fine with that, you can just reference the patient resources if you have that. But MHD uses the contained one because there is the XDS environment behind it.
And I have another point of, well, feedback actually. Reading documents through AMD is pretty straightforward. Publishing a document it's almost impossible if you see how many times you need to repeat some contained resources at the document manifest level, at the document reference level. I find it, and it may be part of the specific XDS or MHD server I was dealing with, but I found it like almost impossible.
Why?
What's your experience there?
Actually, we're using MHD just to access documents, not to
Not to publish?
because
Because I think you would have other
no, because we don't have a mobile application that publish documents. We have just an environment that is almost XDS. Please, another question.
Actually, we implemented something that is kind of MHD-ish, but not really adhering to the specification. And what we did is we put the patient into the transaction bundle, but we use a conditional create. So we have a patient identifier that helps us to recognize whether the patient is already in the system or not. And so the conditional create will just check whether the patient is already there. And if it's not, it will create a new patient with whatever data is there. So you can update it later from like an ADT source or something. And if it's already there, it will leave the patient untouched and just reference everything in your transaction to that already existing patient. And that's basically what you want to happen. And you don't have to repeat the stuff all over again. But then again, it's not compliant to MHD.
Okay, good.
But it works.
Good. Nice to know. I will report it to the IHE Commission. Okay, another question. Another.
Get the decomposed resources so from XDS documents.
Yep.
That's the MXD. You just
No, the decomposition of document, it's, I think in MX,
MXD.
I don't remember if it's on MXDE profile or on QEDM profile, actually.
Elaborate a bit more on the magic that happens in the back to get the decomposed.
Oh, it's up to you, the magic.
Well, isn't there supposed to be, I mean, I'm hoping if you say it's up to you, there's going to be vendors that implement it, right? So, I mean, it's not up to all of us.
Oh, actually, as I said before, MXD is not a content profile instead in regarding transaction and actors. So we have no way to test this during the IHE connectathons. So yeah, if I remember well, there is no, it's not defined the magic how it works behind. Maybe can be some best practice written in the document, but I'm not sure about it. There was another question here.
Yes, I saw a diagram saying that MHD can reference the XCA
Yep.
repository, which is the usual use case on large document sharing infrastructures. You're going to end up with XCA. One of the key problems that we ran into is actually that an XCS repository, not just an XCA repository, can return a partial result, and the MHD profile does not allow for returning errors combined with document references in one
Okay.
response bundle. Are there any solutions on the roadmap for that? Because right now what we are doing is we're creating an error document for each transaction.
Okay.
And or for each error, we're creating an error document reference, which then needs to be unpacked to see the
Okay.
actual error message. However, that's not standard, and we don't see vendors implementing that except for the users clicking on the individual error documents to see what are the
Okay. Yeah, because MHD defines when you find an error, you have to return an operation outcome resource.
operation outcome
Yep.
resources.
And so doesn't provide the bundle with. I think that you can, but I will talk about the IHE Commission that it's meeting today, and you can provide that the bundle with the document and the operation outcome resource,
Okay.
as a result set.
Okay. So you include the
Uh,
operation outcome as a kind of the document
Yep.
reference. Okay.
It's actually another entry in the transaction bundle.
Right.
The transaction bundle
With
can have
his own status code that is set.
documents plus entries that are operation outcomes.
Right.
At least that's what a FHIR specification says, but maybe there's a constraint in the IHE profile
Yeah.
that
There
doesn't
is
allow
yeah.
operation outcomes
Okay,
to
but
be there.
yeah, and the IHE profile says when
Yeah.
there is an error, you need to return a operation outcome.
That's right.
But you cannot, well, the way it does is just you return either document references or an operation outcome.
Yep.
For,
Oh,
Yeah, the MHD profile says that if you find an error, you have to return an aberration outcome that.
Can you talk a little bit about free text searches on top of the documents that you're, I don't know if you've looked into this. So when you ingest your documents,
Yep.
have you considered implementing free text search NLP based to go around disassembling the data into more discrete format?
Sorry, we're talking about query transaction.
Yeah. So on document reference and document manifest, if you ingest these, I think to the gentleman's point, it's really hard to disassemble this into allergy
Yep.
intolerance and so on and so forth. One thing we've tried is just to put all the data through NLP. You don't get the fidelity. You can't say what a medication has been prescribed or has been administered, but what you get is that medication was mentioned. I was wondering if you had any thoughts on this one. Have you tried
Uh,
it this way?
As far as you know, we do. Yeah, okay. I understand the question for free text, and actually, we use document reference searches just using the patient without free text. Yeah, so using some other parameters, such as class code. Yeah.
I was talking to Josh yesterday about the very same topic because that's also something that we want to do. And how do we, have provenance pointing at a piece of text that was protected somewhere? And he said he had started to write up a wiki page about, what we need and what we don't need and what's missing from the specification. And I think right here we have a pretty good use case for getting a room and have a birds of a feather meeting about that.
Wonderful. So, other questions? Because I saw that. Okay.
Dealing with large documents in like the old XDS infrastructure can be quite cumbersome in our experience. In your experience, is there a different here with at least FHIR Resources working with larger documents, larger in size, that is?
Okay. We basically use e-prescription that are C-CDA documents, so they are not so large. But yeah, actually,
I think one of the core benefits of using, for example, MHD to access documents compared to XDS is that, for example, in case of video files, you don't need to bundle it into a sub-transaction. That's one of the core problems we have even with DICOM files. When you receive an entire study bundling, you have to do some complicated streaming, but when you're doing MHD, just MHD profile to retrieve that, that's very simple. You call a URL and the file, the entire contained file, is at that URL, and that really makes it easier. But if you have a XDS infrastructure behind that MHD profile, then it really doesn't work. So you need to, for large video files or large DICOM entities, you need to actually make a tunnel directly to the resources if you want to bundle. But it helps compared to XDS.
Yep. Other? No? Okay, so let's stick to the bonus track that we talk about non-patient file sharing. So as I said before, XDS, MHD, XCA, they're all talking about an infrastructure to share documents that are patient related. MPFS is a profile to share documents that are not patient related, such as style sheet, privacy policies, and workflow definition. It's entirely based on FHIR, so you don't need to have an XDS environment behind. Actually, you don't have to have an XDS environment behind because it works with documents, not with files. Okay. This profile defines three actors: a file source, a file manager, a file consumer, that are a FHIR client, a FHIR server. You can submit file in the same way you do in MHD, and you can search the file and retrieve that with the same transaction defined in MHD, and actually not the same because you are required to use the patient exists equals false parameter. And there is another transaction to update the document reference resource that you have published before. And actually, I'm done.
Why do you make it an IHE profile? It's basic FHIR stuff.
Yep, that's right.
And that patient doesn't exist.
The reason why we make it an IHE profile is that, as I said before, HS7 and IHE works together. So HS7 provides a lot of resources, background on how to share those resources. But for example, if I have this issue and I need to ask to developers to develop an infrastructure to share this kind of document, how can I do it? You can say to him, go through FHIR, use FHIR, and they go, yeah, but I don't have a clear path to follow. And that's why we develop this.
Can you go to the next page again?
Yep.
Maybe 2 pages down, one more.
Yep.
Didn't work. One more? No, it didn't work. Yeah, that one. The patient exists is false. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. You should get rid of that.
Okay, that's a good feedback. But how can I forbid the use to search for a patient? Because, as I said before, you can have MHD standalone in a FHIR server, and on the other side, also on PFSN. So how you can search for document references that are for style sheet if you don't require that patient doesn't exist in that document reference resource?
I'm not sure that patient exists is false means what you're saying. I think it means that the patient you're specifying isn't there. Isn't that the case?
It means that the patient is not valued in the document reference resource. And that's why it's there. Okay. 10 minutes. Okay. Other question? Yep.
So just a general question. So what the stance of IHE is on the question of whether you can create a full-fledged document repository that hosts all the data and gives it out and without XDS. So can you build it all on FHIR, on FHIR-based resources and still have a legit document repository? Or does it always need to sit on top of an existing XDS repository?
Okay. What the content profile defines is that you can have an XDS environment behind, on top of the, on the back, or you can, as you said, just have a FHIR server. And if your organization does use another document repository that stores the document and there are the document resources, the document reference resources on the FHIR server, it's up to you.
So, but you know, from the context that tells us that that a FHIR resource, a FHIR backend can actually do a lot more than an XDS repository can with
Yep.
you know disassembling the data and having full API access and all this kind of stuff. I think in the future we're probably not going to need so many bridges that bridge MHD with XDS. We're actually going to need the bridges that bridge the new
That's right.
and MHD repositories with the old XDS clients.
I hope so.
So I guess we need a profile for that.
Okay. Good, good, good. Very good. So, yeah, I hope that in the future XDS, yeah, no, I don't hope so. Perhaps. No, there are some IHE people in here, so I can't say that. But yeah, XDS is an old profile that it's working well. It's like an old man set over there that is, yeah, you can go through him. And then there is a smart guy that is FHIR, you can go through him. But obviously, most of the environments developed here right now, the real implementation are on XDS, so that's why MHD is on top of an XDS. But if you're developing something new, you can just go to the smart guy and do whatever you want.
But you will probably have to somehow plug into the old XDS world. So that's
Yep.
why we probably need the bridge
5.
that goes the other way.
Right. Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit about the patient identity part? With regards to document, but not necessarily the implementation.
So just the PDQM and the PX profile?
Yeah, like what's your experience on that portion of the system?
Okay.
Like, do you map person, just patient? How do you do it?
So PDQM is a profile to search for patient resources. Yeah, as you know, that stores the demographics information about the patient. We have developed an interface of PDQM on top of another patient identifier manager. So we don't have a patient resources, a FHIR server that stores patient resources, but we have an interface that transforms those data in patient resources and gives you back in the application. We are pretty confident. I've tested it a couple of times on the IHE connected, and I don't see a lot of problems in here, unless you do.
Yeah, more concrete question is around like MRN changes, like merges and merges.
Yeah.
Do you update?
No, we don't do merge and unmerge. So that's why for us it's simple. We have a centralized system that, well, because in Italy we have, when you burn, that it gives you a unique identifier that's yours, and it's you. You can be, there's no, the possibility to have another, there is a possibility to, if you have some problems or mistakes, creating the demographic information, but those kind of cases, we don't use PDQM. It's something that happens on the backend, and so we don't use PDQM to do the merge and merge.
So are the documents still mapped to the wrong MRN or?
No, the wrong will be deleted and will be merged with another one, but it's on the backend, so we don't use PDQM profile to do that. We use it just to get access to patient demographics. And yeah, PXM it's for the identifiers that are related to the patient across different communities or environments. Okay, it was 5, now it's 1. 3, okay, 3 minutes for another question. No, you want to go to grab coffee? Okay, it was a pleasure, thank you. And please, if you have some other question, maybe I cannot help, but it would be good for me to know and maybe report to the IHE Commission. Thank you.